After the party is the after party. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Ray. With me, as you can hear, unpacking is Material Life.
Hey,
And also, we have Crystal.
Hola,
How's everybody doing tonight?
I can see.
Okay. She can see. Clearly now, the rain is gone. Or
Hmm.
But okay. All right. I'm for one, I'm glad to have you ladies here. Uh Another person's supposed to join, so whenever he comes, hopefully when he comes he'll drop through. But ladies, today we are be going to let's just say we are going to be doing some unpacking. So uh and we might all of us, since all of us are probably the same generation, we might have the same views or opinions on different things. And I just wanted to share this with y'all. So we're going to be doing some unpacking together. So, so as I put this video up, I wanted to ask you ladies, because this is what the basis of the video is. Things older black people are not ready to hear. What are your in in your own words things that old black people are not ready to hear?
Hmm. Probably about poly dating, poly
I
relationships.
I would say that that is the times have changed. It is at this point being miserable and forcing your kids to stay in a company that they're miserable at is a thing of the past. So that whole like at this point, grow up, enter into the realm of where everybody else is already at, and go on about your business. And it's not too late to switch careers.
Okay.
Oh, and another thing. See, first of all, y'all set the bar a little bit way too high for the amount of stuff that y'all allowed or the amount of stuff y'all gave up to raise y'all kids. And now y'all expecting us to pay it forward at y'all old age. But I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I'm preparing myself for my senior age so I can live comfortably. I don't know why you chose to not follow your dreams, but I ain't got it.
You know, it's funny. I
Hmm.
went the more political approach that we shouldn't be just voting Democrat just because, and not that I want people to vote Republican either, but
Hmm.
I feel like we should just be voting for people that are you know going to do for us. There's no reason the Democrats should already have our votes and they're not doing shit for us. So I feel like we should be really be voting for the right person instead of just voting just because. There's always been that's always been my that was one of my stats. And also the views on guns. I realized that a lot of older black people they're not big on guns because they feel
Mm.
like guns are dangerous, which they are. Not dumb, but I feel like as long as you have the proper training and use protection, and like they're not going anywhere for a while, like black people need to arm themselves. There's no reason that we as to we should arm ourselves to defend ourselves, not to to be using it irresponsibly. So those are one of mine. Y'all was good too. Father done into the chat. How's it going, Father?
Hello, my beautiful black people.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked you.
Wait. I was gonna
Yes.
add something to the one you said about just not voting Democrat, like not just. Also, they should stop emotionally voting. Like that's another big thing. A lot of older people vote based off emotion and not really facts. Well, they don't really care for the fact. Like it's not where they say the new generation is always why, and the old generation is like they'll figure it out later. So they tend to vote emotionally, and then it's like, that don't work out.
Oh yeah. You know what reminds me of? I don't know. Have you seen that video when I think it was when Biden first got president and then the kid he just voted for independent or something, but he didn't vote for Trump, but he didn't vote for Biden either. And the mom was cursing him out in the car. You ever see that video?
Yep.
Yeah, that was that because he was like, I ain't voting no more. He's like, damn man. Father, I'm gonna ask you the same question. I asked these ladies. What are things older Black people are not ready to hear?
That they've been disillusioned by the American dream. Y'all motherfuckers were bamboozled. Y'all niggas were duped. This ain't it.
I just laugh at that.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, nah, because you research the history of how Black people have been moving, and in America there is integration. We could see that in Africa. Look at South Africa, for example. They ended apartheid and they became the Rainbow Nation, right? They still haven't really fixed their racial issue either. So we've been duped.
We've been smacking.
But I'm telling you, Africa really done turned around and reverse slavery.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
With that apartheid, because they got them white folks
Bro,
struggling.
they kicked the French the fuck out.
Them white folks living in tents, struggling. I was like, wow.
If I'm correct, Haiti's got a little revolution going themselves, right?
They go on revolution.
With DR, yeah.
They live in battle. Like function in battle, live in battle. Between fighting and surviving, that's all they know.
Ain't that the truth? Shout out to Haiti.
I love me my Haitians, man.
All right. Without further ado, like I said, we're gonna be doing a lot of unpacking. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
I'm not ready to talk about it, so let's just jump into this video, okay?
Stitch this and name something that Black people, especially older Black people, are not ready to hear. I'll go first. Integration was trash, and we should have followed Malcolm versus Martin.
What y'all think about that take?
Why she came in that hard?
Basically the same thing I said. Shout out.
No. The way you said, no, you was light with it. You said, the American dream was false hope, but she said integration is trash. We should have goddamn fight. We should have killed. We should have went gun blazing. I was like, ooh, come out.
It starts there. It gets a little harder.
That's the start. I know it can only get worse. You supposed to start light. They came in kicking. Good said the first video. I'm gonna make sure y'all know my stand.
Oh yeah, all right.
If y'all allow us to do what Africa did to the white folks, just know the time will come. Obama was the little, how they have like that first Black person that's safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think, okay, the next one ain't gonna be that bad. The next one is still a little bit safe, but it get a little risky. By that third one, it's a wrap.
They put a nigga there. Go ahead.
That third, he gonna really fuck things up. He gonna be worse than Trump.
I think the only reason that the woman is saying that the integration was trash is because whoever was there before her in her lineage didn't know what the fuck to do with what they got the information from. What they should have done, yeah, follow Malcolm, but also move like the news, if you know what I mean. For instance, they took the information that was given to them and taught it to their own culture and ethnicity. And then they built their own schools. And then they made it hard for other cultures and other ethnicities to integrate into the school that they built the foundation on based off of integrating in the first place. I think a lot of times we as African Americans see all of the things that other cultures are getting based off of their complexion and their what they identify as, but they stick together and they utilize the foundation to make sure that other cultures can't integrate, and they teach their own, the real history. They don't have the government choosing what to teach their children. So I think that integration was good, but we should have utilized it for our own culture and to make sure that our children is not learning things that was transformed and tweaked by the Chinese when they sent books over here based on American history.
What? Why did he leave? There you go.
Why did it get so quiet? It was just like random.
That because I was waiting for Ray to play the video, but they left the call.
Oh no,
back
I don't know if I got kicked or not, but
That
you
why?
got picked out.
You
That why?
got
As
Jitsi.
you nodded.
oh,
You got Jitsi.
yeah, I think I got Jesse. I was about to say this unpack is going to happen, Jesse. I don't care what what do you like it or not. All right, let's continue the video.
Name something that black people, especially older black people, are not making.
I got 8 things for you, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out your way. Number one, make use us as children, and we are all recovering from our childhood. Number two, white Jesus, let him go. Number three, pedophiles that exist with that you all don't want us to talk about because you don't want the family to look bad. Stop protecting them. Number four, stop teaching our young girls this idea of struggle love that they have to accept the bare minimum in relationships.
Preach, brother.
Number five, stop teaching our young boys that it's not okay to cry and or show emotion, that toxic masculinity has been passed down through far too many generations.
Okay.
Number six, the homophobia in our community is based largely in part to the older generation and their religious beliefs that have long since been debunked. Number seven, stop gaslighting the younger people in your community and or in your family just because you're older and you think you deserve respect just because you're old. And some of y'all are mad disrespectful. And last
Preach,
but not
brother.
least, therapy. Stop telling us not to go get therapy. Stop telling us what happens in this house stays in this house. I'm done.
Oh Lord, like he just.
I told you, B. It gets like I said, we're gonna be unpacking. Which I think.
I'm 50-50 on what he said.
I'm
50-50. Interesting.
50-50. What's the 50-50 about?
There's some things like I understand. Okay, we shouldn't, have our young sons thinking or guys thinking like, oh, it hurts to cry. But at some point, at this point, I'm about over these emotional guys. I'm physically, mentally drained with emotional guys. Like I am. This point, stop crying. Like hold it in. Keep it to yourself. Don't even let it out. We do not care.
She said, "Fuck that emotion. Give me my toxic masculinity."
I don't even know you don't want to be a soldier no more. Keep that to yourself and continue to play the role.
Okay, it's because when I always said to men that it's like, okay, you could show guys that when it comes to emotion, I feel like before B went on his rant, it's like, why do you want men to cry or something like that? It's just like I but I also believe there's a time and place. It's just like something I understand like there's times you really do want to let it out, and sometimes and like me and father had this conversation, like um I personally don't have a problem with the term man up, but there's a time and place where you should probably use the word man up. You shouldn't be using it for everything. Like if your mama died, of course you're gonna cry, but you ain't gonna tell that man to man up then if his mama died. But some things you do have to like man up and get through. And like that crying ain't just gonna stop it. Sometimes you gotta get through it. But I also feel like as black men, we do need spaces to relax, let our emotions go, let our like at least have our spaces where we could talk our emotions out and like, just feel better about ourselves and get through the day. It's just like I feel that's my whole spill on that. It's just like we could like if there's a place where we can be emotional and not be judgmental, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, there is a place where you can be emotional and not be judgmental in
Where is
private.
it?
It's definitely there in private, in your bathroom, in your room, to yourself. But when you openly, who's laughing? I'm trying to be serious.
I know you serious. She's like in the bathroom. She's like in this little
But
ass box. Go.
but when you openly cry out in public, it's one or two things that happen. Now somebody feels obligated to like try and console you, and especially if they're not mentally prepared for that. So now they feel like they struggling, they're exhausted. You drain them out because they got their own stuff. That's why I was like, or you can always seek therapy. Therapy, to be honest, therapy is kind of free, depending on where you go to get it. It is definitely kind of free. So you just gotta be willing to find it. But because there is a lot of free therapy that the government will pay for your therapy and everything. Not even in regards to like financial spending or whatever. It's just therapy can be free. So that's I'm like, there's outlets for this thing now. Back then, we just didn't know we could get therapy. Black people didn't know therapy existed. We didn't know there was somebody you could talk to that can help you unpack all of this other than your family, because your family ain't gonna help you unpack anything. To be honest, they're gonna make it worse. They ain't gonna apologize because whatever they did, however they felt at that time was how they felt, and they're gonna stand on it 1,001. That you might be lucky if you get a sorry. You might be lucky, but 100% of the time, they're gonna tell you they just didn't know better back then.
Mama, I'm depressed. Go to press them damn dishes.
They're just gonna tell you they didn't know better back then. So a lot of stuff that they did, they thought they was doing it for your well-being. At the time, they thought it was your well-being. But as we grow up and we start reading and we start understanding our emotions, we realize, hell no, that wasn't our well-being. That was draining our soul. But we moved along, we grew, and a lot of us was raised on anxiety, still have anxiety, don't even know how to function, like, to maneuver through it. But, at the end of the day, we ain't had no choice but to continue to move on and act like it don't exist. Some of us have memories that was so traumatic that y'all probably like suppressed it and don't even realize it's there. But men, like I understand female. Even sometimes when female be emotionally crying, I just be like, why? Now I feel bad because now I have to like hug you and like rub your back and everything else, and I'm just like, I don't. And then give you some like sob story or something to cheer you up. It takes a lot of energy out of people. I'm sorry. And I know we want safe spaces, but sometimes the safe space is in your bathroom by yourself. And if it's not working, then you can seek a therapist, professional help. And if that doesn't work and you feel like the only way you can survive is to emotionally cry in public, I'm telling you, you can go to the bus station in the middle of the subway and just let it out. And I swear to God, you're going to have 20 people console you. Am I
not
lying?
in not in
Oh,
New York though,
uh,
I,
uh,
it, don't-
because
I
you know
didn't
it's a
say how
trick.
they was going to console you. I just said you're going to find 20 people. Now, if they rob you, I bet you stop crying then. You ain't going to be crying about that.
Mm.
I don't know because there was this one dude. I was on my way to work this one time, riding the metro, and this is probably not the best place for this dude to be doing it. Swear to God, dude came on the metro train and was just yelling, "Ah! Ah!" just randomly. Ain't nobody look at him. Everybody just mind their business. Then they nigga yelled that way for like I swear to God, 20 minutes straight until I got off and went to work. I was like,
Oh, that is hilarious. I was just saying some shit to be saying some stuff, but I guess it really does work. I you know that.
I don't know, but all I know is just like I ain't got time for this. I'm about to go to work.
Let me say this. I do think that it is important that people really invest in their emotional health and how to process their emotions in a healthy way. Solitude is a great way to do it, as Material Life mentioned earlier. But I think what the real issue is not only just that there are no safe spaces or anything like that, but there are a lot of trials and tribulations along anybody's path. And sometimes that shit will wear down on you. We all know that life it's a phenomenon where that shit will like you will fall 10,000 times trying to get what you want, but it only take that one time to succeed. You feel what I'm saying? And people are really going through it. I feel like, with the culmination of everything that we have been through as a generation, you feel what I'm saying? Like back to back to back to back, mind you. There's going to be a lot of men that's going to, fucking fall under the cracks and not know how to properly deal with that level of emotion that they are socialized to bottle up. And it's a multi-layered conversation. You feel what I'm saying? There's like a lot of shit that actually like goes into the phenomenon of especially what happened to black men. But when you get into the generalities of it, you start to see the same pattern manifest itself. Like New York, Miami, New Orleans. Like you can see the patterns, Chicago, like the Compton, especially back in like the late 80s and early 90s. Like it, and then they took that and then it became a culture. So now people really look at us like that's everything that we represent. But we all know we're not that way. We're very diverse, you know what I'm saying? We're not a monolith, but that never gets the highlight. So it's all in all just to say that like yeah, it is up to you as an individual to fucking take care of your mental health, of your emotional health, and really invest in ways to ensure that you are in control of your emotions, because as a man, if you are in control of your emotions, I swear to God, it's like the cheat code. You feel what I'm saying? Ray, you remember that video we was watching about the traditional versus 50-50, man? And he was
Yes,
sitting
sir.
there talking about, oh, I'm going to give you the cheat code. And then the cheat code never came. It was just, he was talking down on him. But the real cheat code is mastering your fucking emotions as a man. That is the fucking cheat code. If you can do that, like, if you can get to a point where you can process your emotions, you can know how to, uh, you know, uh, communicate with yourself in a way to like understand that emotion, you can just feel it and then move on. But you have to be again, you have to be in solitude with yourself. You have to know yourself like from the soul level in order to get that, and that takes commitment. That takes investment to self. So
I totally agree with everything that you guys are saying here on the
I
podcast.
100% agree. That was a nice method.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I want y'all to pay attention to the energy depression hubs. The depression hubs are located in all the major cities: New York, Chicago, Miami. If you were to really see the connection of depression and the men with the highest suicide rates, you'll see a fucking pattern.
yep.
Unfortunately, we have mothers that raise these boy children that I've been saying for a long time that they think their child is moldable. They don't let them just fucking be. And it's not their job to raise a boy into a man, but it is their job to install, how to put it, how to figure out who's for them and who's not. A lot of these men do not get to vent to their own family members. If they do vent, that family member feels like they're helping them and they're hindering them. They're judging them for even having whatever issues that they have, and it's spread like wildfire. It's no fucking reason if a boy child goes to their mom that the mom should be telling somebody all the way in the Caribbean of what the fucking son said. It's nobody's business. But that's another story. Also, when these men find their manhood, they find it in their underpants. And because of that, unfortunately, they go from woman to woman finding some kind of relief, some kind of venting tactic, which really destroys them on a spiritual and physical level because they depend their manhood on how many girls they can get. And these girls, sometimes they let out and vent to them thinking that they're the one, but they do not know how to figure out what the seed is and who's there for them. That's why they need to stick with one person so you can find out their pattern and to see if they are really there for you. So when you vent, you do not have to hide who the fuck you are. You can say whatever without the person manipulating feelings just to feel like they have a Build-A-Bear man. So they're going to tell you anything that they want. We need tactics to make sure that the men that really need to get out from, corporate America can go on trips and places that have not much of a city life, such as the Caribbean. There's places in Africa that if they spent some time there, they would have a sense of belonging. They may have a sense of, hey, I got this, and I'm in this situation, and what I have back home is really not that bad situation, or I miss my family. Whatever they've done to me is really not that bad compared to what I might be going through out here. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that the Caribbean have less than, but I've figured out that when people do not have this depression hub of a city life, they are more likely to make logical decisions of what makes them happy and what makes them sad. What they think makes them sad is just a facade, if you know what I mean. We have a society that gets off on people having a harder time than them. And the people that are targeted, unfortunately, it is a gender thing, and it's the men. The men are targeted. You can see it in the laws. You can see it on how hard they work. They literally sell their soul in exchange to make the woman happy. And I'm not saying this is all circumstances, but where is the laws that really support mental health for the man? It's laughed at this point.
All right. Let's get back into the video.
Just like every point he made, I am so 100% with it. A lot of black people, a lot of older black people feel like they can really disrespect young people because they are older. Like, stop it. And that ideology of forcing young girls to go into marriage, because, like, Anyway, let's continue.
Stitch this and name something that Black people, especially older.
I almost broke my neck trying to get on this. Let me tell you, I made a whole list. I got a couple things to say. Body shaming. Baby, you ain't a size 6 yourself, but you want to tell me because I'm a size 12 that I need to lose some weight. How about we both step away from the table? Oh, okay. Generational trauma. Just because you in the past, you and that trauma when you supposed to forgave the person that hurt you. Favoring them boys over them girls, that double standard mess, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Abusing your kids because you have been abused. Had you forgave the person that abused you, you would have never been abusing your own
She's
children.
speaking facts.
Teaching girls they need to depend on a man. Depend on a man for what? What can a man do that the girl can't do for
Period.
herself? Oh, okay. Kicking your kids out and charging them when they first get a job. Why do you kick your kids out at 18? Why do you charge them for a bill that you're supposed to provide for them? Oh, okay. Shaming little girls because they develop early. That's not their fault. Just because you're messing around at 12 don't mean she is. She just developed early. They ain't got nothing to do. It's just hormones, genetics, that type of thing. And I'm going to step on some toes, but a lot of y'all hate y'all kids and you jealous of them.
Oh my God! Like she went.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
First off, I just want to say I fucking love her accent. I love that.
You talking about the African girl?
No, the one on TikTok, the one that was just talking.
Oh, okay.
That Southern shit. I love that shit.
Okay.
You know what? I should have wrote down her list because her list was definitely popping. First of all, we got to be real honest. A lot of older people, well, they're going to say they're not jealous. A lot of moms and dads, let's be more specific. A lot of moms and dads is definitely giving jealous of their kids because they sacrifice life for these kids, but these kids ain't prospered. The tree did not grow in abundance as they was expecting. And also she spoke on another. She said a lot of things, but the jealousy one was the one that was like, yep. I do truly believe that. I do truly believe a lot of parents definitely giving jealous of their kids, even though they claim not to be. But I do feel like they didn't get to live their best life because they got pregnant either young or, they had to take care of a kid. And it's not easy, so I understand. But it's like, and now you're watching these younger kids just pawn these babies off to their grandparents and not taking care of them. And the grandparents like, I thought my time was over. I thought I was about to live my best life. But clearly, my daughter is not understanding that concept.
Okay. There was one thing that she said that I wanted to ask, at least father, at least. Do you feel like men are more coddled than women?
I'm 50-50. If I'm completely honest with you, I'm 50-50 on that.
50-50?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, me, I never felt coddled. And I come from a big family, so it's just like, but I never felt coddled. I think if anything, it's more or less, it goes from older to younger, not more or less men to female. Because sometimes the oldest person, they don't get away with a lot of shit, and the youngest usually gets away with the most. But I don't feel like that's more or less about gender, but more or less about
age.
what age they was born. Because the baby is always spoiled. And but then again, this is coming from a middle child. That's myself, but I don't know. What about you, ladies? Do y'all feel like that men get more coddled than little boys get coddled more than little girls?
Talking about now or
in general? Because I will say this: there was a time when like girls be like, "My son is king," and they're the the whole thing of their son being their husbands instead of their sons. Like I do understand that point, but I just think that's just them trying to replace the the father with the son or some shit like that. But other than that, I don't know. As a man, I've never felt coddled, but then again, I'm one of many. So what do y'all think?
I don't think men get coddled by their dad. Like, I don't think that's the thing. Like, no offense, not trying to say dads just ain't the emotional type, but it's definitely, well, the day and time has changed, so men probably is calling their son a little bit more. But I think it's definitely a mom thing. They'll be like sweet or nice to the boys because they feel like they have to like emotionally give them the love that they need because they're men, versus where the daughters and stuff, they get the beatings.
I think in the beginning, it's true. But as the boy children get older and they start making money, they don't. They actually get outcasted from the family if they're not making the amount of money that everybody can take advantage of. And don't let them have a wife or a girlfriend that they're giving their money to. I think it changes dramatically from when they're a boy into manhood.
Interesting. Interesting. B, you're not wrong because as a young boy, you are usually attracted to your mother. So I think it's some type of signature for you. Some shit. I learned this in psychology, and I'm just. But it's something less that you are as a young boy, you are attracted to your mother, and your father is you. You're usually trying to cock block the father, some shit like that. It's a weird thing that is along those lines, but yeah, um, you're not far off. So usually the father is there to like.
Let's not say attracted
No.
to your mother.
No,
But
no.
let's just not say that word. You're more protective.
That's exactly what it is. No, that's exactly what it is. Off of Sigmund Freud. I'm just like I'm terribly explaining it, but
I still, we should not say attracted to your mother. We probably say protected, or you're more, you have more love for your mother, than your dad. But I don't think attracted is the right terminology. It's given very much weird. It's given very much incest. It's given very much So I'd rather us not say that word.
you're right. Is it? I'm
Because
gonna.
there's some parents who is weird like that, but I don't want that word to be, added here in this black space.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna.
I think the proper term you're looking for, Ray, is the attachment phase, because young boys tend to do that like at a certain age. Like they'll be super, like they'll never want to leave the mother's side type shit.
I like
Like
attached. I like that word.
like there's a phase where it's just like that, and then their father's like, "Hey, yo, like he's around you a lot and shit, like but like they eventually grow out of it, but
Except for the mama's voice.
Yeah.
Well, except the daughters. The daughters still be attached to their damn daddy. The son will eventually grow out of it unless you got a mama's boy and he just had that natural DNA of a mama's boy. But daughters would definitely be attached to their daddy for life.
Given that little girl. Yeah, because they're the only people that will spoil you unconditionally. So, yep, you usually have that. So, let me go ahead. Let's go.
You wasn't raised with a daddy.
Yeah.
You don't get attached.
Shit. All right, let's get to the next video. Let's get to the next video.
That you went there, like like everything she's 100% stand with it. There's a lot of older people, even older parents. Like, why are you billing your kids when actually the kids didn't ask to be here? You were the adult that decided to bring them here, and now they're older. You feel like they owe you for taking care of them when they didn't ask to be here. My opinion: if you are the parents, provide for yourself and for the kids. You brought them here, so hey,
Well,
let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section.
wait, let me say something. I always thought that was weird to me. Like, because I guess me coming from a island family, we're not, cause like 18 an island family, they're not kicking you out. Child, you could be 50. They not kicking you out. But in like black families, like a lot of kids I grew up, like I went to high school with, they were like, once they turn 18, they mom kicking them out. Like, they outside the house. And like, having to sleep on other people. I was like, that's weird. I'm telling you, island families, you can be 59, 60, 90 and still not have it together to pay your rent somewhere. And your mama will definitely, daddy might be a little bit like, oh, they need to go. But they all definitely still keeping you in the house. Because they rather you be in the house and struggling than to be outside and struggling. And a dope head or crack head. Like, I feel like they saving you or something. I don't know. But
I think it's just values. You feel what I'm saying? It's just a principle. Like it won't sit right with them if you just out there. And it's like you said, like some of them, like we be coming from other countries and we know how hard it is to even be here in the first place. So to have your child out there, like it's gonna fucking hit you different. But I feel like as long as you apply yourself and as long as you have the mindset of really like, upgrade yourself, then I think you'll be fine in the long run. It's just that the way that things move nowadays, like look at the markets, look at what they be saying about shit like cryptocurrency and shit like that. Like people is really out here struggling. The struggle is real. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't mind somebody, like I'm just saying, like I don't mind somebody who's like in their like 30s or like their 20s or whatever, and they're still living with their folks. Like you see a lot of that. That's very common now. It's the reality of things now. So I don't feel like it's something that we really need to make such a big deal about, because if they had it, I'm pretty sure they would have moved out and did it on their own. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that they would have already had their own shit if the shit was affordable and if they was making enough money to accommodate themselves. But if they're not in that position, then they cannot be in that position. You know what I'm saying? So it's
and I'm a big advocate for take your ass back home.
yeah.
I am a massive advocate. There's no reason for anyone to be out here in a suitcase, homeless, outside, and you have a mom and a dad who is begging you to come home. Like, I understand if you have no family at all, but when you have family that's begging you, that wants you to come back home, that knows you struggling, and you trying to, keep the image alive that you gonna make it, but you out here living in your car, girl, like, I understand some people like living in their car, this new day and age, van life, car life, all that life. But if that's not you, take your ass back home. Go back to your little room. If it got to be the living room or whatever the situation is, but take your ass back home. Regroup. You might not need to go, like, as long as you like, you might have to help out your parents this second round around. It ain't gonna be like what it used to be, but I'd rather you take your ass back home.
Facts.
Okay.
I couldn't even do that to my own children.
I'm telling you. Well, I'm preparing for my senior citizen living. So I've been working for a long time. That's why my 401k been active. So once I get senior citizen lifestyle, 62, 63, 65, I'm ready. I better not be working still at 62. That's just impossible.
All right.
If
Let's get
I'm still 62 working at this point, I refuse. I will quit. The moment my birthday, I will quit instantly. And I'll be living. I hope my mom's still alive at that time. God bless us home, because I'll be back home.
Okay. All right. Let's get back into the video.
Older Black people are not ready to hear.
A lot of what y'all consider disrespect is younger generations establishing healthy boundaries. And if I can take it a little bit further, the younger Black generations are killing it right now. Going to therapy, breaking generational curses, outing predators in the
Healing.
family, exploring their spirituality and going beyond just white Jesus, learning ways to teach their children that doesn't involve abuse, embracing their sexuality and allowing others the dignity to do the same. I hear the older generations complaining about the younger generations, and there's a part of me that just wants to be like, y'all should be really quiet. Like, I'm not saying that the older generations didn't do their best. I'm just saying that there was a lot of trauma that y'all passed on, and that trauma is being overturned right now. And you guys should be thankful for that. Anyway, bless your hearts.
Yeah. Yeah, we're speaking up now. Like, we're speaking up.
What y'all think?
Hey, bro. Healing, bro. That's what I was just saying it earlier. When you take the initiative to fucking take care of yourself, a lot of the shit that you think are problems are not problems at all. They're preventative. All you have to do is just put yourself in the right mindset and actually value yourself enough to not put yourself through bullshit situations.
To be honest, I don't even think I could have survived in the older generation. To imagine that a lot of them work for minimum wage for, decades. The minimum wage. And then
A
you
lot of
have,
people been working since they were 13, maybe even younger.
I don't know, some of them probably even younger. Some of them probably 10, 11, 9. Probably was doing sweeping the yard or sweeping somebody's front porch, or or cutting somebody's grass for like $2, probably, compared to like now. I couldn't even imagine working for $8 and having to support a whole household. Even the time back then when it was like some places minimum wage is still $8, which is blowing my mind.
$7.25 in Alabama last time I checked.
But I couldn't even imagine working at a company, somebody's company, for scraps, and then you watch a young child, the age of your grandkids' age, come to the company and make 3 times your pay, and you're 20 years in at this company. That's baffling, out of control. It just sickens you as an adult in your 50s to realize. And then they get there and work for 2 years and then leave and then go to another company and make even 4 times more than you make. And you're still there waiting on this raise. That was a lot of the older generation. They didn't fight enough. They didn't fight hard. They fought, because I can't pretend like they didn't fight. They fought, but they fought for scraps. Where this new generation is fighting for the mother load. Even though we seeing it in the way these prices is, but the price of rent has definitely showed up for the mother load.
Yeah, ain't doing shit for free now.
But it's crazy you having 25-year-olds making over $100,000.
Yeah, they're not selling crack either. They actually
And
go
they're
sell.
not selling crack. Where you have your grandparents or your parents at the time, $10 was a lot to them. So now people making $30 an hour, $50, 60, 70, 80 in construction is just like, okay. I was in school and I was talking to this girl and she was like, I said I wouldn't even work for it. Like me working for somebody for $40,000 annually, you gotta be joking. I can't even pay my bills with that. And she was like, that's a lot. I was like, girl, minimum wage now is like $60 salary, 60,000 salary, 60K salary. She's like, for real? I was like, that's how you know you was going through it. She ain't worked for like almost 10 or 11 years. So I don't even want to imagine how much she was getting paid when she was working. She probably was getting paid $20K annually. I was like, that's high school pay. $40K is high school pay. People got to pay bills. They gotta pay rent. They gotta pay utilities. They gotta pay babysitting fees. They gotta pay for uniforms. They gotta pay for groceries. They gotta pay for gas. $40K will only pay for the rent. That's it. With a roommate.
Okay. All right. Let's get back into the video.
And we're discussing the whole issue.
Something that Black people, especially older,
that you all were bamboozled. We were supposed to hide our African traditional beliefs behind Christianity so that we could continue to practice. But you all became too invested and you began to believe everything being taught by the colonizers. So not only did you lose, but each generation after you lost valuable information about herbs, animism, rituals that aid and assist us to keep us on a level of ascension. We lost because you all were bamboozled. They told you that you would go to hell for practicing your African traditional belief system, something that was given to you by birth from the cradle of civilization. And you believed them. What you don't know is that you were already in hell. Men, women, and children were slaughtered, eaten, raped. Everything you had was taken away. Anything you could attain was taken away from you. Your right to knowledge was taken, and you believed them? That you would go to hell for practicing your belief system? You were already in it. You were already living in hell. So yes, you were bamboozled, and we all lost because of it.
Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan was the devil, and the government lied about 9/11. So that's that's what he used to say. You know, it's funny. They always mention, they always mention white Jesus. I never thought Jesus was white. I always thought Jesus was black. Even
It
when I read,
says so in the Bible.
it says so in the Bible. So I do get where she coming from. But also it's just like I tell people, it's just like, if you read the Bible, you realize Jesus was black. It describes him as black. So I mean, yes, there's paintings of white Jesus and and all that other stuff, but I think anybody that really read the Bible understands that Jesus was black, and I believe Christianity came from Africa, originated in Africa. So,
I will say this, bruh. She was spitting. Like, people really don't take into account the spiritual ramifications of what the fuck happened to us across the four corners of the globe. You feeling what I'm saying? That's why I always say this world was flipped upside down, because when we was doing like our own shit, when we was just out here doing our own shit, we had no problems because we lived like close to nature. You can even see it with a lot of people. You can even see it with a lot of people in the Caribbean, like the ones that kept those rituals and those belief systems. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they breathe different. It's like they have a different type of consciousness about them. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not just that they heal from a like we like to make it scientific, but like they heal at a holistic level, like at a very spiritual level, like at a very core level. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like, especially in Western society, because we've done objectified everything to hell and back, everything has a fucking price tag. So even it even feels like taking someone on a date now is a fucking business transaction. Because as soon as we establish that there will not be a second date, what did they say? Oh, I wasted my money, or shit, that was money well. And I'm like, bruh, was it a date, or like was it a fucking business meeting? But that just goes to show you, like, they weaponize religion, and we were the first test subjects.
I just want to say, if African Americans are looking forward to learning about their roots in Africa and they want to practice a certain religion, rituals, and understanding of whatever they find out about their lineage, be very careful. Not everything is made for everybody. Even though you have melanin attached to your skin, if you don't know the tribe that you're from, be very careful what you do. Just don't do it because everybody else is doing it. You can get yourself in some real fucked up situations. But she is right, and she was spitting facts. Just be careful where you tread and make sure you do thorough research and connect with people that's in your tribe, literally.
I love shit like that too. I love that holistic shit. Like, them old stories about like women in the garden, like literally growing herbs to like make certain teas and medicines and shit. Like, all that shit is cool.
I hope we get back to that. I know there's more people doing that. I don't, but I hope more people get into that.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine?
Yeah. Oh, I hope that black people, we get houses, so we start growing our own food and start growing our own herbs and shit, just like fucking Baby Boy. I feel like that's a one scene in Baby Boy that I feel like things just look over. He grew her own garden. She had her own vegetables.
Nigga, everything was vibrant. You see the color of them fucking tomatoes she pulled out?
Hell yeah. Yeah. Goddamn Ving Rhames had to put weed in there though.
Bruh. After she specifically told him not to, by the way.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
That scene still bothers me.
It bothers me too, because Jody was right. He got his ass whipped.
He sure did.
Why you booing me? I'm right.
Oh, it was like, kick his ass out, just like. Let me not get into a Baby Boy rant.
I kind of agree with this. There's this documentary on Netflix. I'll try and look for it and then probably leave the name on the screen. And they actually talked about how the Yoruba people during slavery, how the West African people were being moved, and how the Yoruba people has actually influenced some, and has actually influenced some of the culture in Brazil, and how the Yoruba people incorporated the Yoruba culture, the African culture into the religion, which is now like a religion of its own now, which is really interesting. She's saying this like what they were supposed to hide their beliefs behind it, not actually believe in white Jesus and all that. So really deep stuff she said there, deep stuff.
Name something that Black people, especially older Black people, are not ready to hear.
A lot of y'all call younger Black people disrespectful because they set boundaries for the shit that you have caused on them. Y'all need to take responsibility for the damage that you've done
Everybody's
to your
saying
own
this.
children. Stop calling other Black people weird for liking nerd, geek things or things educational that benefits for them. It does not matter if you're a Black man or a Black woman. Stop fucking arguing about who hurts the worst. Y'all both are destroying each other, and this shit needs to stop now. Christianity and religion was used to brainwash and manipulate us.
No, but
Criticizing a Black person's intelligence, saying that sounding white is toxic as hell. A lot of these Black celebrities that y'all be supporting are trash as hell. If you try to hit your child and he or she blocks the hit, that does not mean that they want to fight you. It means they want you to stop hitting them and they're tired. This light skin, brown skin, dark skin shit is stupid, and y'all sound like slaves.
It reminds me of my mom.
I might do a part 2 to this. Should I continue?
That's why I don't argue with old people no more. When he said that, I learned a long time not to argue with old Black people because they're stuck in their ways, and no matter what you say, even if you're right, they're just going to be stuck in their ways. Sometimes it's just like I'd rather not just go. You know what? It's one of those battles. Just right, I'll just take this L. It's just even though they're not right, which I think.
Yeah. I don't even really talk. Yeah, I don't really talk to them like that because they're just not gonna understand. They're in a different world. For the one I'm saying, so they grow up with that type of mentality, and they came up with a different worldview. The world is very different from now. You follow what I'm saying? So they've gotten to a point where they're just never going to understand, and they don't want to put themselves in a position to understand because they already quote unquote made it. I don't know what they made, but they made it. But
and they have this attitude like, well, I figured it out. Why can't you?
I'm like, you ain't figured shit out. We still in the same place that you fucking born me into. What the hell are you talking about? The only reason why we're in the predicament in the first place is because now there's extra income because people had to grow up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to understand that your network and the relationships that you cultivate and the people around you is going to dictate your reality. So you can't just work, bro. You can't expect to work the same job and then level up just simply due to the fact that it pays you this amount of money. Because as again, Material I've said before, it's gotten to the point now where the money you were making before is not cutting it. You feel what I'm saying? So, as things get more expensive and as life gets more inflated, pun intended, they really start to not see how the decisions that they made back then affect us now, because they don't have that foresight anymore. Because in their mind, it's like, I already did all the struggling. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, now we got to go through the struggle. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of mindset is that? That's a fucked up ass mindset. That's that. I don't know. It's like, instead of you bringing children into the world to have them grow and have them, experience life in a positive way, it's like you are passing down all of your fucking weight, all of your fucking debt, all of your fucking, woulda, coulda, woulda, shouldas, all of your, what's it called? Like untapped potential into your child. And then now that is the circumstance that they inherited from you. They're not with it anymore.
Okay. All right. Let's get back into the video.
Maybe you should. I'm kind of some of the things that I'm like
Name something that Black people,
to it.
especially older.
Y'all should have known to not let this cross on my FYP. I got some shit to say. Setting boundaries is
Okay,
not
girl.
equal to disrespect. Next. When your child comes to you about being sexually assaulted by your partner, stop assuming that they're lying. Why in the hell would they lie about something so sensitive like that? Stop telling us
Make
that
it
we are
make
too young to
sense.
be depressed, stressed, and tired. There is no age limit on any of that. Stop forcing your older children to take care of your younger ones. We did not have them. You did. That is your responsibility. I am not the mom. You are. Stop grooming your daughters to be wives when you're allowing your dirty ass sons to be bums. Nobody's going to take care of them but you.
Oh my
So have
goodness.
fun. Favoritism amongst your children is weird as hell. I don't see how one child is more superior than the other when they both came from you. Once your child turns 18, that does not mean that you stop being a parent. You signed up to be a parent the moment you decided to open up your legs at Freak Week in 96. Do your fucking job. Us voicing how we
Love
feel to
you.
you is not disrespectful. Just fucking listen. You might learn something. Part 2, anyone?
Name something that Black people.
I just want to say she's definitely not the favorite. She was definitely not the favorite in her family growing up. Not making fun of her, but you can tell that she was definitely not the favorite growing up, and she was definitely the black sheep.
Mm-hmm.
She was
It's
definitely
even personal trauma.
that was she's the black sheep of the family. Again, not making fun of her, but you can tell that.
And probably was molested. And her parents didn't.
Damn.
Chill.
Woof. Oh, woof. All right.
I love her.
Especially older Black people.
Love her. Valid
That
point.
at some point in the family, something happened or someone did something that needed to be covered up. That in order to keep up appearances, either an act was done or a lie was told to cover up the event. And that while more than likely that happened due to generational trauma, because you didn't know what it was, used old wives' tales or religion to explain it away, subsequent generations have issues with effective communication, understanding the balance of community, family, and autonomy, didn't know how to prevent issues with mental health, didn't teach us about our bodies or sex, yet had premarital sex, cheated on wives and husbands, broke up families and had mistresses, told us it was bad but kept doing it, and didn't let us see healthy displays of emotion. So now subsequent generations are having mental health issues, trash sex, bitter battle of the sexes, and still don't want to talk about it.
Valid point.
Okay. I want us to. Well, this was specifically about the whole. Even though I've never been through this personally, I don't know about any of y'all, but the whole, like, I guess if there's a predator in your family and people hide about it, I want to ask this. It's just like, well, I feel like one, person does need to get out of help or go to jail, but it's just like, what steps do people need to go into, like, putting it out there? If I worded that question correctly.
Honestly,
one.
Like it's like I want to say confrontation, but that's not always the best way. Just simply to that's a case by case thing, but like, it has to come out. You feeling what I'm saying? Like, it has to be said, regardless of whether someone is willing to listen or not. It just simply has to be said, and it has to be made clear that this happened. I feel like as long as that first step is made, then whatever comes from it will come, because again, I feel like it's case by case, because every family dynamic is different, right? It could be the same crime, but it's definitely not the same circumstances. So it's kind of like a tricky question to ask, just considering everything that's already happened, because not every situation is the same. But just making sure that it's out there at the very least.
Yeah, because the whole thing about that, this is just like, okay, what do? Do you give them help, or do you send them to jail? That's always been my question. It's just like, I don't mind. I think you should out the person if he is like that type of person that does that. It's like, what do you do though? Do you give him help, or do you send them to jail? Because sometimes I do feel like if you send them to jail, they don't really get help. And it's just like, if you do give them help and it works, do you really trust them enough to like bring them back to the family? So
Can
go
I
ahead,
answer?
Kristen.
Because again, I'm extreme with these kind of situations. When someone is in that predicament of doing that, and we are talking about predators, right? I don't want to
Yes,
say the
predators.
wrong thing. Okay. Unfortunately, it's going to be repeated. It was done to them. So they're like a fucking disease. Okay. Um, I I'm extreme. So I think you guys already know what I would say. And I think you guys know what I personally would do.
Yeah, murder
And I'm
him.
not going to criminalize myself on this damn podcast, but
Off
it's
with
no
their heads.
helping.
Crystal,
Yeah,
we all know what you would have did.
it's no
And we all
helping
know
them.
you'd be ready to spend your life in jail for doing it.
It's already happened. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. They still have yet to find certain body parts. This is not a game.
For me,
It repeats. What's done to them will repeat again. You can help a child, but when it's a grown ass man or woman, it's no reversing that psychological effect. It's like addiction. They're going to have to keep going to rehab. So just cut off their lineage right there and then. We don't need it to be reproduced.
Mm.
I'm not.
I don't agree. I mean, I'm sorry. I agree with you. Let me just say that. I don't want to give up word.
I agree with cutting off the lineage,
Yeah, I agree with cutting off the.
like as if like don't I'm not saying make him a woman. That's not what I'm saying at all. When I
It
say
might help though.
lineage, I'm talking about as if like putting him away where nothing else can be reproduced through him. But for me, there's only one thing to do, and that's always going to be call 911 and let them figure this out. Because once I call, I put in the report, the statement. Now it's up to the court and legal system to find out if he lying or telling the truth.
You believe in the legal system? I'm sorry.
I definitely believe in it. I'm definitely not about to go over there, kill someone, murder someone.
There's
Spend
torture
20
too. You
years,
don't have to kill them.
kill, murder, torture, anything of that nature. Spend any time in prison or jail.
You don't have to get your hands dirty. It's levels to this shit.
So I'm not even about to pay somebody to be a criminal for me. Because then I'm still going to spend, I'm not doing anything to spend 20 plus or 5 plus, 2 plus, even a second.
But are you really a criminal?
I'm not criminal. I don't even have the criminal bone in me. I don't even want a criminal next to me. I don't even want to date, look at, see, talk to any criminal. I definitely don't ride or die. I definitely, and I'm not, it's not no Bonnie and Clyde shenanigans going on over here at all. It's definitely, there's no trap queen going on around here. I will definitely call 911. Heartbeat. Instant.
You know
Now,
what's
whatever
funny?
happens to, if it gets out in the air and, more people find out about it, whatever happens, that has nothing to do with me. But what I do know is when I call 911 to come find this man and they do their job, that's all I know.
You know, the system is very interesting because there's a man that murdered someone through sleepwalking and got off. So when I heard about that, I said, the system is there for just to look good. Because at the end of the day, he's not paying for what he's done unconsciously. If someone is crazy and they go around with a machete killing innocent people, guess what? They get off because they are criminally not insane. They're just insane. So they did
Incapable
it because
of committing the crime because they weren't in their correct mind.
right. So when that happens to your kid and it's a predator, that is a good reason for that short moment to go fucking insane. But you know what? They will arrest
I
me.
think there's a lot more steps to it. So I would have to go see a
Mhm.
psychiatrist, get my crazy papers, and make sure I spend 1 year in a psychiatrist, making sure they understand I'm physically crazy. Then so I can go commit crime and be considered crazy. And then there's a possibility I would have to go live in the crazy home for like a couple of months until they can mark me back to being sane or partially, and then I'll be in what's it called? House arrest, or it's not really house arrest, but it's like where you have like the little beeper on your legs for the rest of
Mhm.
your life and hope you don't commit another crime again, or like get off your hinges or whatever. No. I'm good.
So for the podcast sake, I will say that I do
Well,
not.
Ray, please delete this portion that I just said because I'm not. I don't want no one to think that's the blueprint.
Yeah.
You won't be an
Crime.
accessory. Don't worry about it. You won't be an accessory.
Well, I would say I do not think that unaliving someone is okay. And I withdraw all my statements that involve harming people. But I will say that the justice system is there for a reason, and assassinations are there too, as well.
Yeah, we all know it's flawed, but we can only hope and pray. And if it doesn't work out for us, it's just like, dang, that's an L. But I guess some of the black people who got W's when they should have got L's, I guess one of our L's is probably misplaced in their W. I guess.
The alphabets, gotta love it.
Like, who would say, like, some people like they get away with murder, and you're just like, and then you like, bro, really?
It's bigger than me.
I know this black man did it. I know she did it. But I know for a fact I didn't do it. But I'm get. Oh, I guess we're leveling out the playing field.
White people still trying to get OJ to this day. So they still let
They,
OJ.
they had him for a little bit, but it was for something else.
Yeah, because OJ's stupid.
Very.
But
Orange Juice did his time, so
yeah, Orange Juice, Orenthal Jason. Oh shit!
I'm still wondering, did he really learn his lesson though? Because the way he's still moving around.
Hell no. That's why they put his ass in jail. When he made that book, is I didn't kill my wife, but if I did, this is what I would have done. Oh, he was fucking with. He was that. I've always said this. When he did that, he said, "Fuck white people." That's
no. But you know what? And this is gonna be off the record. It wasn't him. It was actually his son. He's covering for him. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm out.
Sounds like one of those D Wolf rabbit holes. So without further ado,
that makes sense why the glove didn't fit.
It did not fit, but it was in the
Kitty
house.
gloves.
How he got in the house?
A little kitty glove. All right, let's get to the video.
Point she made there, like a lot of old, but they are that give. They did it.
Oh, I kept my button off for this one. Okay,
All right.
so here we go. Keeping a little black girl in the house, teaching her how to child rear, showing her how to cook and clean, keeping her away from boys, and calling her fast to scare her away from her sexual desires does not make her a wife. It doesn't make us a wife at all.
Yeah.
Actually, a backfire. The black community is now a matriarch, and what you see is a lot of black women. They're hyper independent.
we don't know what it's like to be interdependent with a man. And either we have a lot of codependency issues where you find a lot of us cannot be without a relationship and always
Yep.
desiring companionship,
Mhm.
and or it will show that a lot of us really don't give a fuck about a man actually being around at all, which it really isn't the best thing that we don't know how to be interdependent, because we have the most single parent households. A lot of elders thought that they were helping us when really their internalized bitterness and hatred towards the situation
And their
pushed
fear.
us away from actually knowing what it means to be a wife and actually wanting to have a man in the household. So a lot of Black women will say what a real man is and really have no real representation of that on their own father's behalf, as opposed to a granddad or an uncle or another male figure around, but they have no real representation of what a real man is as far as their own father, if it's not leading with his finances.
Mhm.
Yeah. So another thing about that is the way that we deal with these children, and you'll find that a lot of Black women, they just do what they got to do, and we're quote unquote strong and independent. But in other cultures of women, they go into their womanhood as teenagers. They're able to date boys. They're able to vet them properly. They're able to know their red flags, set their boundaries, and they're able to see what it would look like for them to actually have a strong family unit early on. A lot of Black girls don't get that, which is why we struggle with stress and depression far more differently when it comes to relationships, and it takes us so much longer to move on
Okay.
as opposed to other ethnicities,
No.
because we haven't had it. We don't know what it feels like without it being hid or without it being kept a secret, and a lot of us don't know the difference between privacy and hiding somebody. The whole sneak and link
Mhm.
era, it's really not a
Yeah.
good thing. Yeah, let your little daughter date. It won't hurt her. She needs to know where her boundaries are. She needs to know what to look for, and she needs to know what it's like to go on a date and not be easily impressed by a man. And she doesn't need to wait until she's juggling bills and dealing with kids to do that. Let us date. It's okay.
We'll come to the ladies
No, the
first.
fuck it
I
ain't,
think that was
baby.
the last video anyway. So I'm coming to the ladies first. What is your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, she cracked me up from the beginning to the end. So sis wanted to be a thought her whole life.
I said the fucking same thing.
Yes,
God damn.
it's written all over her bonnet that she didn't take off.
Oh God, thank you.
It upset her that her parents had more care or want for her to be better in life. And now she is regretting the fact that she is a single baby mama. And then you have the audacity to say let them date so they can set boundaries. How about, first you find you a husband and allow your daughter to witness, or allow the husband or the dad to show the daughter exactly what she should expect and the boundaries look like and where it should be. Not have her going out in the streets.
Conversations Black people aren't ready to have. Number
boundaries. The audacity of her to think that she was doing something great right now blows my mind. For you to feel like parents wanting your daughters to learn how to cook, clean, and everything else was them like being bashful or like ignorant or hurtful to their kids, when every other race literally trains their daughters to do the same exact thing and eventually look for a husband or whatever. But Black people, the only one that feels like doing that and making sure your daughter's successful and set up with a husband or somebody is setting them up for failure. Y'all lucky they're not out here forcefully forcing y'all to get married like some other races. I'm like, it's given backwards. Like, why you want your kid to be a thought? Like, you want her to be sexually active early. Because right now, I feel like 8-year-olds are already sexually active. And especially with this new age of rappers and singers and musicians, and everybody's a celebrity now. So it ain't too like it ain't too many 18 or 19 or 20-year-old virgins.
I agree. Her I don't know. I guess she was trying to sound wise, but that ain't it. Because
Sexually
my whole
open.
thing is, huh?
Sexually open.
That don't even sound right. You know what I mean? Like open for demons, open for STDs. What the fuck was we really talking about? Because at the end of the day, I'm all for teenager girls to date, but what age are we looking at? Do the parents know of each other? Whoever she's choosing, are they monitoring the dates, such as going to the movie theater, going to the skating ring, and shit like that? And I don't think that any little girl should start dating until the age of 16 and a half and up. And
I said that too.
when we say dating, is it being monitored by an adult? Because all my little dates was monitored as fuck. I couldn't do anything. I had to come home at a certain time. There was a certain demeanor. The parents knew of each other. I couldn't go anywhere without them knowing where I was, who I was with, and if his mother knows where we're at. Things of that nature. It's called community, not community dick at the end of the day, and nobody's being monitored here. At the end of the day, I just didn't, whatever the fuck she said did not sit well with me at all. On top of that, do not blame you choosing a man that doesn't have a father in his life or doesn't have morale if he doesn't have a father in his life or integrity on the fact of a whole black race. That has nothing to do with anything. I'm the main example of that. My dad was in and out, not because he wanted to be, it just life happens, right? And I said to myself, okay, fine. Let me find a man that had a father in his life that has morale and has integrity. And I got that. And my daughters never have to say, oh, I didn't have a dad in my life. They know what representation is. At the end of the day, it's not really up to the whole versatile black race for women to choose the right man to lay down with and get kids. So that's just a fucking cop out. And she needs to take the melanin out of her mouth if she doesn't know how to use it properly.
Woo. I'm all about black men and black women needing each other. I don't understand why, like, and maybe it's just me. I feel like we're the only race, or yeah, we're the only race that people's just like, oh, we don't really need this person just because you can make money, or just because you can do things on your own, don't mean you should. It's like it's okay to have other people, in your life to do things. That way you can take at least the load off of some shit like that. Because like I wouldn't want the mother of my child raising him by herself and I'm not doing anything. I'm going to do something. And I feel like there's other men that's like that too, especially fathers that really wants to be in their kid's life. What's good if you take that away from them, them wanting to be a father? Because most dudes, especially that want to be with their father, some of them can't because the woman likes to keep them away from her. I'm pretty sure y'all seen that. And it's just like, would you rather have someone that wants to be involved in your kid's life or someone that, just hit it and quit it and you never see him again? So, but yeah, I think she just wanted to be a hoe at 13. So that was just my thoughts. I am so glad you ladies said that.
That I was like, really? Like everything and as she kept on going on, I was just like, this is what you felt was the thing you need to that you need to tell your mom. Because clearly I know it's in regards to your parents. It's not in regards to anybody else. I was like, this has to be to your parents. Like, this is what you feel like they deserve to have here. And I don't even want to imagine what fast tail little child she about to raise up. What 16 and pregnant daughter she about to bring into this world.
Shit.
I remember going in high school and seeing kids like I went to 2 different schools. I went to a white school, then I went to a black school to finish up my high school year. And the white school, like we didn't really have pregnant kids, like high school kids. Like that wasn't a thing. It was like rare to see like a kid in high school pregnant. And then there was also schools that they sent pregnant people to. But then I went to all black school. Baby, that was a culture shock for me. The amount of kids that was walking in the hallway pregnant just blew my mind. Like I was just like, who raised y'all? Like, where was your parents at? Where was your mom at? Your dad at? Like, I'm so confused. Like, even though my mom was very strict and we didn't really get the opportunity to just be outside in them streets like that. But when it came to morals, she instilled a lot of that in us. It was overflowing. Morals was overflowing. So like to see people like you wanting kids at 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, like to be dating and they can create the boundaries as they're, transgressing. Like, no. These kids are, first of all, the boys now are way more emotionally intelligent and narcissists and love bombing. They will literally talk your daughter out her drawers and panties in school because she thinks what he's saying is definitely the best thing she heard. And let's not forget not just him, because there's definitely gonna be the few girls that test her too.
Let's be honest.
In this new day and age, she have a whole train ran on her in high school, elementary school, middle school. And with so many kids in elementary school with cell phones already, they'll have it recorded, posted up.
Oh yeah, because them kids are ruthless.
Yeah, like kids in elementary school already with cell phones. So that means ain't nothing hiding no more.
There was a if I was correct, there was a story like that a long time ago. But I think when I was in high school, some girl like she had a train ran on her and they put that on camera or something like that, like ruined her life.
Or there used to be like they'll record girls getting I guess sucking dudes up in the back, like in the back of the school or like behind the door or something, then they'll record it. Like I'm like, and with the your son does the whoever recorded it or posted it or whatever the case may be, don't even realize what they did. Don't even realize they literally did a criminal act. Thinking they being funny. And now they gotta register themselves as a child sex offender for the rest of their life. And the distribution of child pornography for the rest of their life.
Yep.
Kiki.
Side note. So y'all picked the worst spots to some of you women pick the worst spots to like do y'all dirt. Y'all do your dirt where people can see y'all.
Like the staircase.
Who the fuck?
Oh, we had the top of the staircase. Nobody could see us.
Mhm.
You know how much times I've caught fast ass girls and guys on the top of the staircase, and I'm just trying to get to class? Disgusting. And they be
Exactly.
smelling weird as fuck. Like, bitch,
You ain't
wash up.
thinking
Get some
you
Dove
not
soap or
catching
some
me.
shit. Get on my
Yeah,
nerves.
you know what's also sad? Like, and D could attest to this. I felt the same way in the Navy when people used to get caught fucking, and then the security would catch them. It was like, how do y'all get caught?
It's not even just how do y'all get caught. Like y'all, it'd be like right before, or we about to pull in somewhere, or like, or we just came from somewhere. Like you really couldn't wait 30 days, 30 days, 45 days, 15 days. Like
It really be that
one
serious?
day. It was like at
I
this
could not be in the
just waiting,
military.
you
I
would
would
have
be
had a
laughing at
brand new,
anybody. Mm-mm.
you would have had new vagina going around. By the time you finally came back out where y'all can be doing it again, your stuff will be refreshed. Brand new.
No, my favorite was when old girl she did her duty, and then the next day she went to medical and asked for a plan B.
My last one, there was a girl who did it in the porta potty. I was so disgusted.
Ugh.
Oh my god, I remember that one too.
I was like, that was nasty.
Oh, man, there was another one. I ain't gonna say her name because I knew who did this, but oh man, when we was in the shipyards and she got caught boning in the shipyard berthings with
Oh my gosh.
oh man. I could, you know what's sad? She was new too, and I could not help but laugh at her when I found her and figured out what it. Like like my dumb ass. I was supposed to be secretive about it. And my dumb ass like, oh, that was you.
And that's the crazy thing is and then you talking about some of them been having it so early in life that they literally do not know the process of waiting.
Oh man. Oh.
I could wait. I could wait a century, decade. Like waiting is not long. Like that's why I be like when I see people do. I'm like, y'all weird.
Sex is like a drug to most people, so that's like you probably not needing it, but most people, sex is like a drug. It's a big addiction. Sex is a major addiction to most people.
Yeah, but a lot of them ain't no what nympho.
Nymphomaniac, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them is not a nympho, so they have no excuse for why they acting the way they is. Some of them just be doing stuff thinking that's like the way to like capture a man or get what they need to get. Or some of them have low self-esteem and feel like, oh, if because he's saying something sweet to me right now, that is worth the man married. He married, sis.
Oh man.
I think if women knew I think you know what it is. It's a lack of education when it comes to men and women. Only because a lot of women think that once they give the punani up, that he's so in love. No, scientifically, and I heard this on some station. I forgot, but and it's also a video going around saying the same thing. Men do not release oxytoxins and stuff. They don't release it unless they're in love. Women release it all the fucking time, 24 fucking 7, every time we have a sexual encounter. But men only release that when they're actually in love. That's why they can actually disconnect from women when they are having intercourse. But women, we cannot. Whether we be like hardcore, like, oh, we ain't got no feelings. Yes, the fuck we do. And our hormones dictate that shit.
Exactly.
So when girls is like, I'm not attached to him, we just fucking lies. Go and get psychiatric help and then go and get a microbiology class and then sit your ass down somewhere and purge. Cause bitch, you is in the fucking matrix and no pill can fucking save your ass except a plan B. The fuck?
Okay, all right.
But there is some moments where we can detach. Is when we done it through with it and the sex is just out of control. Like at this point, we ain't got no hope. It's like
that's a damn shame.
detach. Or when the financial drainage happened, then you detach.
Yeah, that puts drive real quick too. Like this goddamn shit here death.
It takes a traumatic event.
All right. Okay, on to the second video. I'm probably not gonna play this one all the way through because there's a couple of them that I feel like we should. But this one is more of a general thing that our Black people are not ready for these conversations. So the funny thing is, the person that the original person that did this video, it was really for fun, but a lot of people, they, like I said, they had some traumas in this one too. So let's start with the first one.
Conversations Black people aren't ready to have.
A lot of Black people have wasted their time going to church because they're more invested in the Black excellence of that church than they are with the spiritual aspect of the church and changing themselves. The choir was singing and the musicians were slapping. And did you hear that word? Fire. And you're still the same crappy person that continues to cause destruction amongst the people you interact with and yourself. But y'all don't hear me. Y'all just want to dance.
Conversations Black.
Thoughts? That was really about the damn church too.
I'm beginning to feel like the church was an institution made just to, it can be used as an institution to brainwash people in the same way that schools are to brainwash children. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even when you think about it, the very, very old, like the first schools were churches. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's where you would go to first off get your get your daily bread, or like build a community of people that believe the same thing. And then it also doubled that as a place where the children can all be watched by somebody of that same religion or somebody who believes in the same thing you believe. You feel what I'm saying? And this is very common, like especially when you research, the old days of America, and they literally use the Bible as a weapon. They weaponize the Bible. They weaponize the image of Jesus Christ. They, like, all of that shit became weaponized. So when you have this type of conversation, understand that, it was used as a tool for your subjugation. But I don't think everything about that particular religion should be thrown away, because there are tenets that, are for the greater good. There is something to pull from those type of belief systems. Just don't get caught up in the fact that, hey, you know what I'm saying? Maybe the way that they are, worshiping may be from the conditioning of the institution that was implicated on them. It's just a thought, but he's definitely right. I'm not saying that to disagree. I'm just saying, like, it goes deep.
Okay.
I'm gonna be very careful with what I'm gonna say quickly with the church, because I have pastors and preachers in my family in the droves. I've been kicked out of a couple of my uncle's churches only because I always challenge the word. I'm the one that says, yes, pray over me. And I go to the front just to ask the question while I have the mic in my hand. And I'm for church. I'm for that. But we need to be realistic about the Bible and ask things and really sit down and talk about, hey, how come they say Jesus' hair is like wool, but we have him in a picture with straight hair? Hey, how come they sent Jesus to a certain place in Africa to hide, how can he hide with pale skin? He won't blend in anywhere because everybody in that area has melanin in there. Like, we need to delve and talk about this stuff, but nobody wants to talk about it. They want to degrade and demean people who do tarot readings or whatever have you, yet you say we're drinking the blood of Jesus and eating the body of Christ. But that's not ritualistic at all. We need to have these conversations and then compare different religions from all over the world and figure out where's the disconnect and what can we find that's reality, right? Because you can't degrade a child for reading the Hogwarts and stuff like that when we're reading about Adam and Eve and the apple when you know damn well it ain't the fucking apple at all. Stop doing that. We got to teach these kids the truth if you're going to go to church. But everybody wants to, like they were saying, the excellence and just disregarding the fact that we have more lies than the truth. And everybody is paying. I've been to so many churches that's asked me for my tithes that I'm tired. I'm tired. The last time I checked, Jesus was walking around in the street preaching the word. I didn't have to pay for the word. So yeah, we really need to reanalyze everything when it comes to the church. A lot of people are losing hope, and I blame that as the situation.
I would lose hope too if I'm walking in a Ford pink. I'm coming in a pink though, and the motherfucking pastor got a fucking Jaguar.
Wasn't there a pastor named Millionaire or something like that?
Creflo Dollar.
Creflo Dollar. Yeah.
I was like, that nigga, and I remember it was like, that's his name for real? Creflo Dollar. That's a rap name. That's not a pastor. It's like, this nigga name was Creflo Dollar. I was like, I remember, I think I did the math, and I was like, if a mega church hosts like 1,000, 2,000 people, and if let's just say like 2,000 people each give $100, and I think that it was basically the numbers are in the 100,000s or some shit like that. And it's like, imagine doing that per month. I don't know if they do it weekly, but let's just say like a church get 100,000 per month. It's just like, that's like, you damn near be a millionaire in a year. It's just like, where is that money going to? Because it's not going to the community. Community still in squalor. This man, motherfucking driving in nice cars and shit. I remember what Creflo Dollar was just like. He was trying to get a new jet, and then when he didn't do it, he said the devil just didn't want me to have a new jet. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Oh yeah. It's just, you want to. I think as Black people, we want to believe in the churches, but when you put your money into something and then like nothing is coming out the community, you just like, what's the point? especially men. It's just like, because men, we're the one that's skeptical. It's like, why am I giving this man my 10% of my hard-earned money? For what? But I think everybody's waking up. On to the next video.
Black people aren't ready to have. Number one.
9 times out of 10, your child is not getting an attitude with you, and they're not deliberately trying to disrespect you every single time they have a bad day. Sometimes what you think is an attitude is just them being rightfully offended at some crazy off-the-wall, out-of-pocket shit that you just said to them. Or they're having a bad day at school. Or they're just feeling sad that day. Or they're not really thinking about their tone at all. They're just talking to you freely, and you're going out of your way to let them know that this is not a safe space to speak freely. Not everything is your child getting an attitude. Maybe don't be so hypersensitive. You're so busy trying to make sure that your kid doesn't talk to you the way you assume white kids talk to their parents that you're forgetting to be nice to your kids. Your children still need you to be nice to them. Your children still need you to give them the benefit of the doubt because they're just kids. Not everything is them trying to usurp your authority.
Conversations Black people aren't ready to have.
Stop telling your kids that there are starving children in Africa who would enjoy the meal that you made just because your child thinks it's disgusting. Also, because I said so is not a reason. Disagreeing with something you say is not talking back as long as you do so respectfully. Teaching your kids to hit and cuss at people is not cute. It's not funny.
What do y'all thoughts about that?
I totally agree. I definitely give my kids a chance to speak their mind at any time, and I tell them that I'm not perfect either. So, say for instance, if my son came to me and said, and he's catching an attitude, and then I catch an attitude back, and then I figure out, hey, I didn't make him feel good because I've told him all the time, come to me if you have an issue with how I'm speaking to you, or how I handled the situation so that I can improve it. I go back and fucking apologize. But I always tell my kids, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We are human. And if we really need to have like a powwow as a family, we will do that. Just pick a time and a place, and I will adjust my schedule to cater to your emotional needs. Because nobody's supposed to, shout at your kids, shout them down and tell them to shut up. And you're supposed to be heard, seen, not heard type of situation. Because I've had a similar situation growing up, and it didn't make me feel good. And I have yet to receive apologies from some fucking adults. So I don't want them to have that bitterness and anger towards them. And I need to teach them how they're supposed to be treated in this world. How can they learn how to be respected if I'm disrespecting them? That don't make any fucking sense. So my kids already know if they don't like what I was saying to them or how I approached it because I was upset at that moment, we're going to fucking talk about it and I'm going to do better next time. That's it. It's that simple.
All right. Let me ask you a question. If you would have gotten apologies for majority of the stuff that was done to you that was really unjust, would you feel like you'd be a different person?
Hell yeah. I wouldn't be in survival mode for one thing, and I would not be hyper vigilant to think everything that comes out of somebody's mouth is them plotting and scheming against me.
Fair. Also, I also agree with because I said so is not a right answer. I feel like as a parent, like when a kid's asking you why, you should at least have an explanation why you don't want them to do stuff. Sometimes I feel like even if they don't like the answer, you as a parent, you should be able to at least give them the answer. And because I said so, it's not a valid answer. It's just like, and I understand, like, especially as men, and I think for some men, or at least for me personally, I'm not good at explaining things, but I try. Especially if I have a reason why I need something done or something to be done. So I understand, because I've heard because I said so, and it's just like that doesn't answer my question. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and all that other stuff. It's just like it doesn't make me feel better because you said so. It's just like, and then when people ask you why did you do that, it's like my mom said because my mom said so, and it's just like. I don't like it. It doesn't like the kid don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's just like, of course they're gonna follow you, but it's just like at least give them a reason why. But that's just me. All right, on to the next video.
Conversations Black people aren't ready to have.
Number one, just because that's how you grew up, don't mean that it was right. I don't care what they talked about in church at your grandma them church. If it's not biblical, it's not right. Number two, you can be old and dumb. You can be old and ignorant. It is what it is. Like, there are young people who do no more because they have refused to not stay stuck in their ways. And so they allow the Lord to lead and guide them and gain knowledge and wisdom that you could learn from. Number three, it's not disrespect if you are corrected by somebody that is younger than you. Like, if you did something wrong, be humble enough to say, my bad, I apologize.
Yep.
And number 4, Christianity is not the white man's religion, so I'm gonna need y'all to read your Bibles.
Conversations Black people aren't ready to have.
Having an older child doesn't mean you automatically have a babysitter for your other younger kids while you go do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
The color red isn't grown, it's a color. A girl being interested in cosmetics, nails, makeup, all of that, that's just them being a girl. That's not being promiscuous or fast. That's just them being interested in what normal girls are interested in. You still can have limitations set if they try to explore that. Like, it's not like full-blown lashes and just a long acrylic, so you can still have limitations.
Yeah.
If you got to tell your child to change their clothes because this person coming over, that means that person shouldn't be up. Because why do you only trust that person around your child if they're wearing this specific type of clothing?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Purposefully provoking your kids, and then when they reciprocate your energy, you want to pull that honor thy mother card. That's manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Respecting elders only goes so far. And what I mean by that is, if you're an elder and you disrespect, you're no longer entitled to that respect.
Yep.
The same way you want respect, you have to give it. Your age doesn't justify you disrespect. That's weird. Being mad strict, you don't let your child do nothing, go to no movies, don't do nothing. That child is gonna grow up mad wild. Stop kicking y'all kids out just because they're 18. Just because they're 18, that doesn't mean they're financially and mentally ready to be out there by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why a child will want to leave a household as soon as possible is because of you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop calling your kid grown when you literally forced them to be grown in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is they watching your kids while you go do what you want. Make sure they eat, make sure they take baths, make sure they set for the night. Whole time it's supposed to be a person doing that for them. But you put them in that position to be independent and make sure everything else gets done in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally forcing them to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they get older and they start acting grown, it's a problem. Stop.
Conversations Black.
She's definitely the oldest child. That is the cries of the oldest child, and she had to be responsible for all the kids while her mama was doing whatever the hell she was doing. I don't know. I will say this. Some things I feel like I agree with, and some things I disagree with. I used to put my little brother, 10 years younger than me, but he was mildly autistic, and I was the only one. And there was times where I was the only one that could put him on a bus, and I was in middle school. And because he was mildly autistic, and then both my parents worked, they wasn't be able to put him on a bus because of whatever scheduling that they had, and my middle school was later than others, so I had to make sure my brother gets on the bus while I had to walk to school. And for that whole year, I was late at least majority of my time because sometimes the bus will either show up late or not show up at all. But I feel so, and I got a whipping for that because I had to go to Saturday detention. And my mom whipped me for that. And that one I never forget because I'm late because I got to put him on the bus. You would think she would understand, but she gave me a whipping for that. And that one, I was just today, I still didn't understand that. But other than that, it's just I do think that sometimes, and I'm the third oldest. So I understand that sometimes you, as a big family, and maybe this be coming from a big family, it's sometimes you just got to have some type of responsibility, and sometimes it does help, when you can. I understand, especially if your parents are working. And at least my parents, they were working. It wasn't off doing God knows what. They was actually working. I feel like if you're working, that's one thing. But if you're just like trying to like go to the club or like try to have some girl time or boy time or some shit like that, then nah. It's like your kid shouldn't be able to babysit. I understand like parents need time to themselves, but it shouldn't. But depending on what it is, it shouldn't cost the child to like stop what they're doing. What do y'all think?
I totally agree with you, Ray. I do think that, when both parents are working, there should be some type of responsibility because let's face it, sometimes parents don't have the support system that they need. And if they don't, they got to depend on the oldest child sometimes so that CPS doesn't get involved or too many neighbors are in their business and is trying to call it something that it's not. Sometimes it's, those situations. But I also think that if a parent's going out to have fun, that they need to pay the older child. And they also need to make sure that that older child has support if they cannot get in contact with their parents. A lot of times, parents are out here doing God knows what late at night because they grown, right? But then they're not allowing the older child to either get paid or compensated for being in a situation that anything can happen at any time. And I don't think that a child that is 16 and younger should be babysitting at night. You get what I'm saying? Like there has to be some kind of level or balance when it comes to a parent going out at night. Is it for work? Because that's not it. I've heard horror stories already from my friends when they back in the day of them babysitting their younger siblings, and it's not like just one or two. We're talking about 5 or 6 kids, so it has to be reasonable. That's all. But I totally agree with everything.
Okay.
Black people aren't ready.
Number one, just because you're older does not mean you know everything. Number two, just because you're older does not mean you don't have to respect me because I'm younger than you. Number three, parents, because you have an older child, it does not require them to be a babysitter because they did not have your kids and that's not their responsibility. Number four, just because you have over 1 million followers on a social media site does not mean you have $1 million because some of you hoes are still broke. Number five, just because y'all go to church does not mean you're going to heaven because some of you hoes are hellbound. Number six, parents, especially mothers, if you were a young mother, you did not know how to be a parent. You had to grow into becoming a parent. And that's what you have to learn about yourself. Number seven, parents, y'all are not always right. Sometimes y'all are wrong. Take accountability. And number eight, please stop using that thou shalt honor your parents all your life. You skipped a scripture where it says the parents shall provoke their child to sin. And some of y'all have provoked y'all children to sin. Y'all going to hell just as well. Have a good day.
Conversation.
I'm gonna skip to because this is one chick on there. She's on there like 3 times, so I'm gonna just skip right here, and we can get to this. Is probably the last thing we watch. So
there's a lot. I know these are hot takes, but I'm gonna give y'all some examples. A lot of y'all hate your daughters because their fathers actually give a fuck about them and want to be in their lives, and your daddy didn't, so you're jealous. Your daughter could be a prettier version of you and you resent her because having her is what you blame for why you're not as attractive as you used to be. So you're jealous. A lot of dark-skinned mothers are jealous of their light-skinned daughters. A lot of light-skinned mothers are resentful that they made a dark-skinned baby. A lot of Black mothers treat their sons drastically different from their daughters. And that's mostly because all interactions between Black women and Black men, regardless of the relationship, puts the Black woman in a position of submission to that Black man, even if it's her own child. But pretty much all interactions with Black women and every other demographic is transactional. They only want to interact with us to get something out of us. So, when a Black woman has a daughter, best believe that that little girl has to earn her keep in that household with that Black woman. Her life can't be no crystal stair. And one of y'all better get that reference. You better get it. That all being said, though, no woman gets less grace than a Black mother. Y'all saw what they let that white boy do to that black mother in that car with her 2 children in Philadelphia. And even with a weapon pointed directly in her face, that woman still stood her ground to that white boy with no support from anyone else around her. Because black mothers are the only mothers that are not seen as ones that deserve support, sympathy, and respect. No, not every black mother deserves forgiveness, but all mothers deserve some understanding. Lots of us have way worse childhoods than anything you could even imagine. And that does not excuse the behavior that you have suffered in your life, but it does give context to why it happened. And as a black mother, if y'all would just apologize to your children for the mistakes that you made and own them humbly, you could get a better relationship going with your kids. Your children are not responsible for the problems that you went through. They are the victims of them, though. And even in that, most of them still love you. You just have to love them enough to give them the apologies that they deserve. The real conversation that the black community isn't ready to have is that the parents and the elders are not prepared to apologize to these kids that they have harmed in this community. We dismiss our harm by saying that we did the best we could, when the truth is your best wasn't good enough.
Please go down in the
All right. Okay. So, like I said, I'm gonna just end this here. So, a lot of things has been repeated, but I think a lot of jewels have been dropped. So, what did y'all think about a lot of these people's takes in general?
They all have one common, like, they can all point back to the same common denominator about how, you know, a lot of the shit that's going on in the black community, and how we are also individuals that need to hold ourselves accountable whenever we see fuck shit, or, you know, whenever, you know, we are in a position to call things out that need to be corrected. That is our burden to carry. You feeling what I'm saying? And it's not always going to be comfortable, and the conversations are not always going to be, you know, positive. But, you know, you just bringing out the necessary conversation to have in the first place is always going to be an important step. So, you know, that needs to be acknowledged. And, you know, a lot of them repeated, you know, a lot of it was like, you know, a very common one was the whole, you know, just because you're older doesn't mean you're wiser than me, or doesn't mean that you know, are smarter than me in certain aspects, especially if you're asking, especially when it comes to, you know, our like experience, you know, just dealing and navigating with life. Understand that, like, you know, it is very like the wisdom of an older person is always like praised, and, you know, it's something that people strive to, or like it's something that people will consider very positive. But if that's the case, then it's vice versa too. The younger generation also has the same type of importance when it comes to information, especially regarding life. So the same way that we have respect for our elders, have respect for the young ones too. That's all they're trying to say. But, you know, it's crazy, like the amount of cognitive dissonance that, you know, rules on our people. But like overall, it was good. Like, you know, definitely a lot of things that really do need to be fixed in the community, and just like everybody else, we got a long way to go too. So put in the work.
Anyone else want to say something?
No.
Okay. I will say this. Oh shit, my camera's on. I will say this. This just proves that millennials, at least in my opinion, millennials, and maybe I forgot what's under the millennials. I know it's not Gen Z. It's something else before millennials.
With Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha. Yeah. We're gonna be the ones that's gonna be like changing a lot of things. Like, we see the problems and we know the problems. Now, are we going to act on these problems? Are we going to you know, divert new teachings to our future kids to where we don't have to they don't have to grow up the way we did. All right, we grew up with trauma. Are we going to put the trauma on us, or are we going to find ways to get rid of the trauma and make sure our kids grow up to be regular, non-traumatic kids like the way we're growing up? Now, I think most of it is going to be like us being in like higher offices, like governments and senators and all that other stuff, because it's not just a black problem. Even though I put this more or less black people, I understand it's not really a black problem; it's a more or less generational problem. But the fact that we're seeing this and then we're trying to change it, I feel like that is good. And the fact that even like examples that Crystal done put out, that she's listening to her kids, she's listening to kids talk, is just like you don't hear people like that, because usually when kids like talk to their parents, it's really like a one-sided conversation, and it's just a lot of them has a do what I say, not as I do type of attitude with it, and it's just like it's just like a lot of us grow up with like not really like getting our side just explained. So even here, I feel like we understand, but I feel like if you give this to a bunch of old people, we're just to them we're probably just complaining. But in my like I said, in my opinion, I feel like as a generation, we're going to be the one to change a lot of things. So my hope is that we see these things and we know that they're there, and then it was like, you know what, instead of doing this because this didn't work for me, why don't we try this? Because I know personally, like I used to say this, I used to get whippings a lot. Now, even though I was a knucklehead, there was times where like I would get whippings and I didn't do nothing, or like it had nothing to do with me. And those are the ones that I feel like I remember the most, because it's just like, why am I getting in trouble for something I didn't do? And I hate being blamed for something that I wasn't a part of. But I'm supposed to look out for somebody that, and then it's just like I can't control what the fuck they do. It's like they're going to do it regardless. It's just, especially if like one of them is like a rebel without a cause. Like they're going to be rebels. It's like it should be my job to stop them. You should be punishing them, not me for that. So I've always had that type of outlook to it. And then another, also with the, I don't want to say traditions, but like everything that's passed down, I feel like we could take the good and then throw away the bad and then make our own, because make our own little things that we can pass on. Hopefully that it will work with the next generation, and whatever don't work, hopefully they'll do the same thing. They'll scrap out the bad or what doesn't work, and then try to figure out what does work, so we can just keep it moving. So, like I said, I think is the world is going to change, and it's going to start with us. That's it. Material life. You got anything to say? Be you there? Probably not. All right. Okay. On that note.
Oh no.
Bruh. Grand opening, grand closing. There you go.
When did it kick me off?
You were like, you wrapping up, and then it literally just said, "Get the fuck out."
Okay, so y'all heard good, because I wasn't repeating that speech.
Yeah, like it was right after the speech.
Jitsu is savage, I swear.
Oh my god.
There's a spirit on this app.
It's just okay. Oh man. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I would like to thank all everybody for coming in. I definitely wanted y'all in because y'all are very wise people, and I feel like people can learn if they see this video, people can learn from this. So I thank each and every one of y'all for jumping in on the after party. So, I hope the audience out there, y'all liked what y'all saw and y'all liked our opinion. So tune in next time when I come through with another video. Till then, this has been the after party, and I'm signing out. Peace.
Peace.